Hello, and a very warm welcome to all of our dedicated viewers and fellow history detectives. We are so glad you have joined us today as we prepare to journey back in time to explore a story that has puzzled historians and captured imaginations for centuries. Our channel is dedicated to unraveling the threads of the past, diving deep into the enigmas that time has not yet solved. Your curiosity and passion for these stories fuel everything we do here. If you enjoy peeling back the layers of a good mystery, then you are in the right place. Please consider taking a moment to like this video, share it with a friend who loves a good historical puzzle, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the unknown. Every interaction helps us bring more compelling narratives to light. Long before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, and even before the founding of Jamestown, there was another English settlement. This was a bold attempt to plant a permanent English flag on the shores of North America. This was the Roanoke colony. It represents one of the very first chapters in the story of America, but it is a chapter with its final pages ripped out. The story of Roanoke is a genuine mystery, often called America's oldest unsolved case. It is a chilling tale of over 100 men, women, and children who traveled across an ocean to build a new life, only to vanish without a conclusive trace. Imagine a whole community, a fledgling town complete with homes and a fort, simply disappearing. The story of the Roanoke colony begins with a man named Sir Walter Raleigh. He was a favorite of Queen Elizabeth I and an ambitious explorer. Raleigh never actually set foot in Roanoke himself, but he was the driving force behind the venture. He received a charter from the Queen to establish a colony in North America. His goal was twofold: to create a strategic base for raiding Spanish treasure ships, and to secure the vast resources of the New World for England. In 1584, he sent his first expedition to explore the coast. They returned with glowing reports of a land they described as a paradise, rich with fruit, game, and friendly natives. This optimistic report paved the way for the first group of settlers in 1585. This was a military-style expedition, composed entirely of men led by Ralph Lane. However, their initial friendly relations with the local Secotan and Croatan tribes quickly soured. The English colonists demanded food and resources, and their unfamiliar customs bred suspicion and conflict. By 1586, the situation for this first group had become desperate. Their supplies were dwindling, and their relationship with the native population had completely broken down. They were on the brink of starvation when Sir Francis Drake, a famous English sea captain, happened to arrive after a raid in the Caribbean. Seeing their dire condition, Drake offered them passage back to England. This initial failure did not deter Sir Walter Raleigh. He planned a second, more ambitious attempt for 1587. This time, the colony would be different. It would not be a military outpost, but a true settlement comprised of families. There were men, women, and children who intended to put down roots and build a permanent English community in the New World. This group of 117 colonists was led by John White. Amidst the turmoil of establishing their settlement, a moment of hope arrived. On August 18, 1587, Eleanor Dare, John White's daughter, gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Virginia Dare. She was the very first English child born in the New World, a symbol of a new beginning and the future of the colony. But this joy was short-lived, as the harsh realities of their situation quickly returned. The colonists realized they did not have enough supplies to last through the winter. The season for planting was already past, and their attempts to secure food through trade or foraging were failing. They were facing the very real threat of starvation. Desperate, the colonists persuaded John White to return to England to gather more supplies and reinforcements. He was reluctant to leave his family, especially his newborn granddaughter, but he recognized it was their only hope for survival. He departed in late August 1587, promising to return as quickly as possible. It was the last time he, or any other European, would ever see them alive. John White's journey back to England was supposed to be swift, but fate had other plans. Upon his arrival, he found England preparing for war with Spain. The massive Spanish Armada was set to invade. Queen Elizabeth I had commanded that every available ship be used for the defense of the realm. No vessels were spared for a supply run to a distant, small colony. White's desperate pleas were ignored. He was trapped. forced to wait as months turned into years, all the while tormented by thoughts of his family and the colonists he had left behind, wondering how they were faring without the promised aid. Finally, in 1590, a full 3 years after he had left, John White managed to secure passage on a privateering expedition that agreed to stop at Roanoke. He arrived on August 18th, which was actually his granddaughter Virginia's 3rd birthday. As the ship approached the island, he saw smoke rising from the woods and felt a surge of hope. He and his landing party blew trumpets and sang English songs, hoping for a familiar reply, but only silence answered them. The smoke, they would discover, was just a forest fire. As they walked toward the settlement site, a dreadful and eerie quiet greeted them. What they found was baffling. The entire colony was gone. The houses had been carefully dismantled and taken down, not burned or destroyed in a battle. The heavy cannons and iron bars had been buried, suggesting an orderly departure. Carved into one of the main posts of the palisade was a single cryptic word: Croatoan. White also found the letters CRO carved into a nearby tree. There was no sign of a struggle, no graves, and no human remains. The 117 men, women, and children had vanished. Before he left in 1587, White and the colonists had agreed on a secret token. If they had to leave due to distress, they were to carve a Maltese cross above their message. When White saw Croatoan without any cross, he took it as a positive sign. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island, and it was also the name of the friendly tribe led by their ally, Manteo. White believed the message meant the colonists had relocated to live with the natives. He was ready to sail there immediately, but a powerful storm rolled in, damaging their ships and making the journey impossible. With supplies low and the season growing late, the captain refused to risk it, and they sailed away, leaving the mystery unsolved. Modern archaeological efforts have focused heavily on Hatteras Island. Recent discoveries have been electrifying. Archaeologists have unearthed a fascinating mix of English and Native American artifacts dating to the late 16th century, providing compelling physical evidence that some colonists may have lived on the island. The most prominent theory, supported by the Croatoan carving, is that the colonists assimilated with a local Native American tribe. Faced with starvation and no hope of White's timely return, they would have had little choice but to seek help from the Croatan people. This theory suggests that the colonists gradually integrated into the tribe, intermarrying and adopting their way of life. Over generations, their English identity would have faded, leaving behind only faint traces like the stories of light-haired natives. Another persistent theory is that the colonists were attacked and wiped out. This could have come from a hostile tribe or even the Spanish, who saw the English colony as a threat to their claims in the New World. A third possibility is that the colonists attempted to sail back to England on their own, using their pinnace. This would have been an act of pure desperation, and their chances of success would have been slim, likely ending in disaster at sea. Some speculate that a devastating disease swept through the colony, forcing survivors to scatter into the wilderness. Others point to extreme weather events that could have destroyed the settlement, though this doesn't fit with the orderly state in which the site was found. The story of the lost colony of Roanoke continues to fascinate us more than 4 centuries later, because it touches upon fundamental human themes. It is a story of courage and the quest for a better life, but also of failure, loss, and the unknown. The figure of Virginia Dare is central to this enduring fascination. As the first English child born in the New World, she represents innocence and the promise of a new American identity. Her disappearance is particularly poignant. Furthermore, the Roanoke Enigma is the ultimate historical detective story. The clues are sparse and cryptic, and this lack of evidence invites everyone to become an investigator. The mystery feels solvable, as if one more discovery could finally provide the definitive answer. The Lost Colony of Roanoke is America's first chapter, and its unresolved ending ensures that it will forever haunt the nation's historical consciousness. It is a ghost story written into the very landscape of the country, a permanent question mark on the map of our past. We have journeyed back to 16th century America, walked through the empty settlement with John White, and examined the clues left behind. Now the investigation turns to you. What do you think happened to the 117 colonists of Roanoke? We genuinely want to hear your thoughts. Please take a moment to share your theories in the comments below. Let us know which theory you find most convincing and why. If you found this deep dive into the Roanoke mystery fascinating, please consider supporting our work. A simple like, a share with your friends and family, or subscribing to our channel makes a huge difference. It enables us to continue creating detailed content like this, exploring the stories that puzzle, inspire, and challenge us. Thank you once again for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of America's oldest unsolved mystery. We hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to look at history as a grand, unfolding puzzle. Stay curious, keep questioning, and join us next time as we venture into another corner of the unknown. We look forward to seeing you again very soon for our next investigation.